franchise. NASA selected 7 military test pilots, the Mercury 7. In 1961, Alan Shepard became the first. They built the Space Shuttle, the world's first reusable spacecraft. The International Space Station has been continuously inhabited for over 20. Have you ever wondered how humanity took its first steps into the infinite dark? It wasn't a slow walk. It was a desperate sprint. Today, we are living in a second golden age of space exploration. Just last week, the world watched as the Artemis 2 crew returned safely to Earth after traveling further into the deep than any human in history. But to understand where we're going, we have to look back at the moment the race began. It's 1957. The world is divided by an iron curtain. Then, on October 4th, the sky literally changed. The Soviet Union launched Sputnik 1, a 1/8 pound silver ball that did something terrifying. It beeped. If the Soviets could put a satellite over America, they could put a missile there too. On July 29, 1958, President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed the National Aeronautics and Space Act, officially creating NASA. NASA absorbed the old NACA and its 8,000 employees. Their mission was clear: to provide for research into flight within and outside Earth's atmosphere. Then came the faces of the franchise. NASA selected 7 military tests, the world's first reusable spacecraft. The International Space Station has been continuously inhabited for over 25 years now. Missions in 1965 and 1966 taught NASA how to dock 2 spacecraft together. By 1961, President John F. Kennedy had thrown down the gauntlet, landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth. To get there, NASA built the Saturn V, a rocket so powerful it literally shook the ground for miles. On July 20, 1969, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin stepped onto the lunar dust. It was about the 400,000 people, scientists, seamstresses and engineers who made it possible. After the moon inhabited for over 25 years now, Space Shuttle, the Hubble Space Telescope showed us that the universe isn't just expanding, it's accelerating. NASA has effectively colonized Mars with robots, proving that the red planet once had the building blocks for life. The Artemis Program is different. Named after the twin sister of Apollo, this program isn't about visiting, it's about presence. We are heading for the Lunar South Pole because of a substance more valuable than gold: water ice. As of this month, Artemis 2 has successfully completed its crewed flyby. We've proven the Orion capsule can keep humans alive in deep space. NASA has committed that the Artemis missions will land the first woman and the first person of color on the moon. With the success of Artemis 2, NASA is shifting focus to Artemis 3, currently targeted for mid-2027. International cooperation through the Artemis Accords means this is a global mission. Everything we do on the moon, learning to farm in regolith and building habitats, is a dress rehearsal for Mars. We are no longer just visiting space. We're becoming a multi-planetary species. If you want to stay on top of the latest updates, make sure to subscribe. The journey is just getting started. Keep looking up.
We're exploring the incredible journey of NASA from its emergency establishment in 1958 to its ambitious, high-stakes plans for returning to the moon. With the Artemis program. Whether you're a space geek or just looking at the stars, this is the story of how we left the cradle. To understand NASA, we have to go back to 1957. The world was gripped by the Cold War, and suddenly, the beep. Of the Soviet Union's Sputnik 1 echoed across the globe. The Sputnik shock, the US was caught off guard. Space wasn't just a frontier, it was a high-ground military concern. In response, President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed the National Aeronautics and Space Act on July 29, 1958. NASA wasn't just a military branch. It was created as a civilian agency to ensure space activities should be devoted to peaceful purposes. The early days were defined by Project Mercury, putting a single person in orbit, and Project Gemini, where we learned how to walk in space. These missions were the high-velocity training wheels for what came next. Then came the 1960s. President Kennedy gave NASA a deadline, the end of the decade. In 1969, the world stopped. On July 20th, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin guided the lunar module Eagle to the Sea of Tranquility. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. The program proved we could live and work on another world. But NASA didn't stop there. The Space Shuttle, a reusable truck for space that built the International Space Station, the Hubble Space Telescope, which literally changed how we see the age and scale of the universe. Mars rovers, from Sojourner to Perseverance, we've been locally present on the red planet for decades. So, why go back? We've been there, done that, right? Not exactly. Enter the Artemis Program. Artemis isn't a flags and footprints mission, it's about sustainable presence. The target this time is the Lunar South Pole. This region contains permanently shadowed craters where temperatures are incredibly low. Why does that matter? Water, ice, drinking water for astronauts, oxygen for breathing, and rocket fuel. The moon becomes a gas station in space. NASA aims to land the first woman and the first person of color on the lunar surface. The hardware, the SLS rocket, and the Orion capsule is already being tested to make it a reality. The moon is just the beginning. Think of the Lunar Gateway as a small space station orbiting the moon. It'll serve as a communication hub. NASA isn't doing this alone. This era is defined by the Artemis Accords and partnerships with private companies like SpaceX. SpaceX's Starship is slated to be the vehicle that actually lowers astronauts onto the lunar dust. Everything we learn on the moon, handling dust, shielding radiation, is a dress rehearsal for Mars. If we can survive a year on the moon, we can survive the 2-year trip to the red planet. From a tiny, beeping metal ball in 1957 to a planned base on the moon, NASA's journey has been one of constant evolution. We aren't just visiting the moon this time, we are learning how to live there. The next few years are going to be some of the most exciting in human history. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. The stars are getting closer every day. Thanks for watching, and keep looking up. This is Tech in Minute.